Training aids change the way swimmers move through the water, and that allows us to challenge skills and challenge physiology in ways that are otherwise impossible to achieve. By using training aids strategically, we can help swimmers improve. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. When used well, ankle bands can be a really great training aid to help swimmers improve. However, to use them well, it's critical to have a clear understanding of what's trying to be accomplished, have an understanding of what ankle bands can do, and also have an understanding of how to use an ankle band optimally. Let's dive into those topics so we can help swimmers improve their skills and their fitness using ankle bands. Using training aids effectively requires a solid understanding of what's trying to be accomplished. When it comes to creating speed, it's pretty simple. Speed is propulsion minus resistance. Swimmers want to create more propulsion, they want to create less resistance, and they need to do both to optimize their performance. When it comes to reducing resistance, it's all about swimming straight. We're trying to eliminate side-to-side movements, and we're trying to maintain alignment on the surface rather than moving up or moving down. In terms of creating more propulsion, we need to help swimmers learn how to move more water backwards. And so a huge part of that in every stroke is learning how to position and use the arms effectively to move more water in the opposite direction. The more water that can be moved with the arms, the faster swimmers are going to go. In most cases, it's more effective to either focus on increasing propulsion or decreasing resistance, and it can be challenging to improve both at the same time. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. In fact, there's a relatively simple way to make it happen. Ankle bands are basically a rubber strap that goes around swimmers' ankles, prevents them from moving them, prevents them from kicking. So how can they be effective? Well, first, we can use them to improve alignment. Why? First, if we take away the legs, it's much harder to keep the legs up in line on the surface of the water. Second, it's much harder to swim straight because the legs tend to fishtail behind the body. So we've actively made alignment worse, and that creates a challenge that swimmers have to overcome to keep their alignment in check. So they're going to have to work harder to keep their legs up in position. They're going to have to figure out how to manipulate their alignment to make that happen. It's much harder to swim straight, so they're going to have to be a lot more precise in how they move through the water, their different arm actions, their rotation timing, all of it in order to swim straight because they can't use the legs to compensate. So the legs are really effective for adjusting for any loss of alignment. You take away the legs, swimmers have to solve the root problem rather than using their legs to compensate. Of course, we can use ankle bands to help swimmers improve their propulsion as well. How? Well, if we take away the legs, the arms are going to have to do more work. The legs can't be used to create propulsion, and so we can challenge them from a fitness standpoint, and we can challenge them from a skill standpoint, because if we ask them to perform in certain ways, stroke counts, stroke rates, speed, and they can't use the legs, they have to make any sort of change come through the upper body. That means they have to execute better skills in order to improve their performance. It's also possible to improve timing with an ankle band because swimmers have to be a lot more precise with what they're doing, or they're going to lose their alignment, they're going to struggle to create propulsion, and a lot of swimmers can get caught up with their legs, and that can prevent them from executing effective timing because they're letting their legs drive the rhythm of the timing, and that can be a problem. We take them away, especially in backstroke. It forces swimmers to set the rhythm with their upper body rather than their legs. That can let them feel effective timing, effective rhythm, and then when we take the band back off, they can try to maintain and execute that. So for swimmers that their legs are messing up their timing, we can take the legs away, force them to establish rhythm elsewhere in the body, and then add the legs back in and try to stick with that same rhythm. So one training aid can powerfully affect both alignment, propulsion, and timing. So how can we make the most of an ankle band? Well, first, it's important to have a specific goal. Rather than just throwing on the band, telling swimmers to swim and giving them a set and hoping it works out, it's a lot more effective to decide what you want to accomplish. Are you trying to improve propulsion? Are you trying to reduce resistance? Or are you trying to optimize timing? First, it makes it a lot easier for swimmers to understand what they're trying to accomplish. And second, it makes it a lot easier for you to write a set that's going to be more effective. So having a specific goal, having a clear goal is really, really important. The second aspect of using an ankle band is to challenge them appropriately. It can get very hard very fast with the ankle band. Swimmers can struggle to hold their body position and then they get tired. It's a lot harder to swim when they have poor body position, and then they can start to really, really struggle. Secondly, all the stress is going in the upper body. That makes it harder as well. So keep the distances shorter than you might otherwise use longer rest periods than you might otherwise use. That will allow them to maintain their performance more effectively, and that will allow them to learn more effectively. It's also really effective to use the other skill development strategies, so focus on their performance with stroke count, speed, stroke rate. Use other drills that are targeting propulsion, resistance, and timing. You can also use different hand postures to further challenge swimmers' ability to hold water with their hands, or to prevent them from stabilizing their body with their hands. Again, they're going to have to maintain better alignment when that's the case. So by using an ankle band with intention, it's a lot more effective than just throwing it on them, giving them a long, hard set, and hoping they figure it out. First set here, we're helping swimmers learn how to hold more water with their upper body. We're going to go 4 rounds through it. They're going to go 4 25s with a band and tennis balls. So they've got no legs here. They've got the tennis balls. They can't really use their hands. They've got to use their forearms in order to build the strong. The only way they're going to be able to create more speed is to use their forearms more effectively. Then we're going to go 4 50s with a band, descend 1 to 4 at the same stroke count. So they got to maintain their efficiency, but they've got to create more speed. Again, they can't use their legs here. They got their hands back. They should be able to hold a lot of water. The only way they'll be able to descend is to be more effective with that skill. And then by round, we'll let them take 2 more strokes per 50. And they have to descend down to faster. We'll finish each round with a 200 freestyle, descend 1 to 4 to strong. They're going to stay at the same stroke count throughout. Now they're going to add the legs back in. They've got to stay long. They've got to create speed, and they've got to hold water to make that happen. By using the band, we can really emphasize the upper body, and that's going to allow them to learn how to hold water more effectively. Next set, we're going to focus on backstroke and helping swimmers improve their alignment. So they're going to go 4 rounds through. They're going to go 4 25s, paddle cap backstrokes. They've got a paddle on their head. If they're moving their head, the paddle's going to come off, and they've got to build to as strong as possible. It may not be that strong. It's going to be relatively difficult, but they're trying to create more speed, keep the paddle on their head. Now what's tougher about this is they've got the band on. That's going to cause their body to move a little bit more. They've got to have to be really locked in with what they're doing in order to swim straight, in order to keep the head straight. And then they're going to go 50 backstroke with a band, solid effort after that, trying to maintain the same skills they worked on with the paddle cap, but without the paddle on. Then they're going to go 2 25s, paddle cap backstroke, build to stronger than they did on those 4 25s. They don't have the band on. It should be a little bit easier to maintain their head position, and they're trying to create more speed. Then they're going another 50 backstroke. Now it's strong effort. They've got the legs back. Now it's another 50 backstroke. They don't have the paddle on. They've got the legs back, and they're trying to be more effective with that. So really focusing on their alignment, keeping it locked in. We're focusing on paddle cap backstroke to help them learn to keep their head still, and we're using the band, to make it even more difficult for swimmers to execute those skills. Next set, we're going 6 rounds through. We're focusing on freestyle timing. So they're going to go 25 drill with the band. They're trying to minimize stroke count and time. Then they're going to go 25 drill, and it's fast. Then they're going to go 25 freestyle, minimize stroke count and time. Then they're going to go 25 freestyle, add a stroke, and go faster. So we're working on speed here, short distances, give them more rest. And by round, on the 1st and the 4th round, they're going to go underwater recovery. The 2nd and the 5th round on the drills, they're going to go over-under freestyle. So one arm's recovering over the water, one arm's recovering under the water. And then rounds 3 and 6, we're doing the same thing, but they're using the other arm over the surface. After all 6 rounds, they're going to go 25 freestyle fast, see what they can do. So the thought process here is it's more challenging to execute the drill, to swim with great timing, to swim with great rhythm when they don't have the legs there. And so they still have to go fast. They still have to minimize stroke count and time, but they have to do that without the legs. We add the legs back in. They're going to have a much better sense of rhythm. They're going to have a much better sense of timing, and everything should flow a little bit better. By adding the band, we're challenging the drill in a different way. We're forcing swimmers to be more effective with their timing. And by challenging them with speed and stroke count goals, we're asking them to perform the drill with the band at higher and higher levels of performance. That all adds up to more skills, more speed. To learn more about how to use a band for better upper body skills, better upper body fitness, check out the video below.